People have been surfing on wooden boards for thousands of years. These early surfboards were heavy because they were made of solid wood. Today, surfers are taking this classic material and giving it a modern twist, creating beautiful lightweight boards from sustainable resources. When most people think of surfboards, they picture brightly colored boards made of foam and fiberglass. But wooden surfboards are making a not-so-surprising comeback. Every waterborne vessel was originally made from trees, because no matter what, wood floats. They start by gluing 2 planks of poplar to a strip of oak. Using a template, a craftsman draws the shape he wants for the surfboard. He uses a Japanese pull saw to cut the shape out by hand. This is the basic outline of the surfboard. A CNC router quickly and accurately cuts the inner support framework from poplar plywood. The builder sources wood from suppliers who use sustainable forestry practices. Using his pull saw, the craftsman carefully frees the pieces of the support framework. Then he smooths the edges with a block sander. He begins fitting the pieces together to form the framework. For the spine, the builder uses fast-drying superglue. It bonds powerfully and quickly, allowing him to work fast. After completing the spine, he starts gluing and inserting the ribs. The finished frame resembles the skeleton of a large fish. Once the support structure has dried, the craftsman places it on the bottom skin of the surfboard. He positions it carefully and securely clamps it in place on a purpose-built jig. Then he traces the lines of the frame onto the skin. He measures and marks a set distance from the end of each rib. He squeezes a bead of epoxy-based glue over the network of lines before lifting the frame into position on the skin. He clamps everything down and lets it dry overnight. The sides of the surfboard, called the rails, consist of 12 strips of wood glued and clamped together. The rails take several days to make. After that process is complete, the builder lays a bead of polyurethane glue on the frame and rails. Then he lowers the surfboard's top skin into position and secures it with dozens of clamps. He lets the fully assembled board dry overnight. Now the board is ready for the last phase of production. First, the craftsman shapes and smooths the wood to give the object its final shape. He trims the excess wood off the sides, using the rails as a cutting guide. He rounds the top edges of the board with a small Japanese-made wood plane. The builder also uses a special tool called a saw rasp to finish the edges. He uses a square to make sure the bottom and top are even when shaping the nose and tail. The saw rasp allows him to quickly and efficiently bring the board to its final shape. Next, the craftsman uses a sanding block with increasingly finer grits of sandpaper to create a smooth surface. He signs the bottom of the board with a pencil, then burns it into the wood with a tool called a pyrography pen. He adds a layer of fiberglass and epoxy to give the wood a tough outer shell. Customers can choose to have a fin box with a removable fin, or they can opt for a permanent wooden one. Traditional material, plus an innovative design results in wooden surfboards that are built to last.